The Songhai Empire was one of the greatest and most powerful civilizations in African history. It rose in West Africa along the banks of the Niger River and became famous for its wealth, strong army, great cities, and centers of learning. At its height, the Songhai Empire was the largest empire in African history, even bigger than Europe at that time. Its story is one of growth, smart leadership, trade, education, and finally decline. Long before Songhai became an empire, the land along the Niger River was already important. The river was like a lifeline. It provided water, food, fertile soil, and easy travel. People used boats to move goods and ideas up and down the river. Because of this, many early kingdoms grew in this area, including Ghana Empire and later the Mali Empire. The Songhai people originally lived in small fishing and farming communities near the Niger River. One of their earliest and most important towns was Gao. Gao slowly grew into a trade center because it was well placed between the Sahara Desert and the forest regions of Africa. Traders stopped there to buy and sell goods such as gold, salt, cloth, and slaves. At first, the Songhai people were ruled by other empires, especially the Mali Empire. Mali was very powerful during the 1200s and 1300s, especially under the famous King Mansa Musa. During this time, Songhai paid tribute to Mali and followed Mali's political control. However, as Mali slowly became weaker, Songhai leaders saw an opportunity to rise. The true beginning of the Songhai Empire started under a ruler named Sunni Ali, also known as Sunni Ali Bear. He ruled from about 1464 to 1492. Sunni Ali was a strong military leader and one of the most important figures in Songhai history. Many historians describe him as brave, clever, and sometimes harsh. When Sunni Ali came to power, Mali was already weakened by internal problems. Sunni Ali used this moment wisely. He built a powerful army, including soldiers on foot, horsemen, and river forces using boats. His navy on the Niger River gave him great control over trade routes. One of Sunni Ali's greatest achievements was conquering the rich and famous cities of Timbuktu and Jenne. Timbuktu was already known as a center of trade and Islamic learning. By capturing these cities, Sunni Ali gained wealth, respect, and influence. These cities also helped the Songhai Empire control trade across West Africa. Sunni Ali believed strongly in traditional African religions, even though many people in his empire were Muslims. He allowed religious freedom, but sometimes he was strict with Islamic leaders who challenged his authority. Because of this, some Muslim writers later describe him negatively. However, there is no doubt that Sunni Ali laid the foundation of the Songhai Empire. After Sunni Ali died in 1492, the empire did not fall apart. Instead, it entered its golden age under a new ruler named Askia Muhammad, also known as Askia the Great. He took power after defeating Sunni Ali's son. Askia Muhammad ruled from 1493 to 1528 and is remembered as one of Africa's greatest leaders. Askia Muhammad was different from Sunni Ali. While Sunni Ali focused on military strength, Askia focused on organization, law, religion, and learning. He was a devoted Muslim and made Islam an important part of government. However, he was also respectful of traditional customs. One of Askia Muhammad's most important achievements was building a strong government system. He divided the empire into provinces and appointed governors to rule them. These governors answered directly to him. This helped keep order across the huge empire. Askia Muhammad also improved the justice system. Judges were appointed to decide cases fairly, often using Islamic law. This brought stability and fairness to trade and daily life. Farmers, traders, and citizens felt safer doing business. Trade was the heart of the Songhai Empire's wealth. The empire controlled major trans-Saharan trade routes. These routes connected West Africa to North Africa and the Middle East. Traders used camels to cross the desert, carrying valuable goods. The most important goods traded were gold and salt. Gold came from the forests of southern West Africa, while salt came from the Sahara Desert. At that time, salt was extremely valuable because it preserved food and was necessary for health. In some places, salt was worth as much as gold. Songhai also traded ivory, kola nuts, leather, cloth, and slaves. Markets were busy and well organized. Taxes collected from trade made the empire very rich. This money was used to support the army, government, and education. Under Askia Muhammad, the empire also became famous for education and learning. The city of Timbuktu became one of the greatest learning centers in the world. It had universities, schools, libraries, and mosques filled with students and scholars. The most famous school was at the Sankar Mosque, where scholars studied subjects such as Islamic law, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, grammar, and history. Books were copied by hand and highly valued. Some families became rich by trading books instead of gold. Scholars came to Timbuktu from places like Egypt, Morocco, and Arabia. This made the Songhai Empire part of the wider Islamic world. Knowledge flowed freely and ideas were shared across continents. Askia Muhammad himself went on a pilgrimage to Mecca. During this journey, he met important Islamic scholars and rulers. He returned with new ideas about government and religion and brought scholars back with him to Songhai. After many successful years, Askia Muhammad became old and blind. Sadly, toward the end of his life, he was removed from power by his own sons. After this, the empire still remained strong, but leadership slowly became weaker. Several rulers came after Askia Muhammad, but many of them fought among themselves. These internal conflicts made the empire less stable. Strong leadership was replaced by arguments, corruption, and power struggles. At the same time, new dangers were rising from the north. In Morocco, the rulers wanted control over the gold trade of West Africa. Morocco had firearms, including guns and cannons, which were still new in this region of Africa. In 1591, the Moroccan army invaded the Songhai Empire. Although the Songhai army was large and brave, they mainly used swords, spears, and bows. These weapons could not match Moroccan guns. The Songhai forces were defeated at the Battle of Tondibi. This defeat marked the beginning of the fall of the Songhai Empire. Moroccan forces captured major cities like Timbuktu and Jenne. However, they were unable to fully control the vast lands of the empire. After the invasion, the empire broke apart into smaller kingdoms and regions. Trade routes changed, cities declined, and the great unity of Songhai disappeared. Timbuktu slowly lost its importance as trade moved to coastal areas. Even though the empire fell, the legacy of the Songhai Empire remained strong. It showed the world that Africa had powerful governments, rich trade systems, and advanced education long before European colonization. The Songhai Empire proved that African civilizations were not isolated or backward. They were connected to global trade, world religions, and international learning. Their scholars preserved knowledge that later influenced other parts of the world. Today, historians continue to study Songhai manuscripts, ruins, and oral histories. These sources help us understand Africa's deep and proud past. The story of the Songhai Empire is not just about kings and battles. It is about farmers along the Niger River, traders crossing the desert, students studying by candlelight, and leaders trying to build a fair society. In the end, the Songhai Empire reminds us that great civilizations can rise from cooperation, wisdom, and vision, and they can fall when unity is lost and technology is ignored. The Songhai Empire may be gone, but its impact still lives on in African history, culture, and identity. It stands as a powerful reminder that Africa has always been a land of greatness, knowledge, and innovation.